this beauty. How does that sync with the Dolph Lundgren style?
Well, I think it's okay. It could be a little bigger, but otherwise it's okay.
Yeah, it's too much of a medium
Too
tank.
weak. It's a medium tank that looks medium.
Yes.
Yeah. Otherwise it's good.
Okay. Were you as a child ever interested in driving? Did you ever have that?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I mean, I think all boys want to drive tanks. You know, I did my military service in Sweden back in the late 70s, and you know, I was in the Marine Corps. So I didn't really have to do with tanks too much, but obviously I saw tanks, especially that one, the S class, and then I've driven tanks in a couple of movies, Expendables, T-72, and one movie I was in a Abrams tank. So yeah, and last week I was in a KV-1, the Russian heavy tank from World War II.
Yeah, that's really cool. Very interesting. When you hear Dolph Lundgren, the first image that comes to mind is that of a masculine
musicals, right?
In musicals, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
An intimidating action star. And I've been wondering, do you maybe have any hobbies that your fans would accept? Just something that would surprise people. Something that...
Yeah, like knitting.
Yeah, like knitting, something that
Yeah.
people just wouldn't see
Yeah,
coming.
right. Flower arrangements.
Yes.
Knitting.
Anything like that?
Yeah, of course, yeah. Making small pastries, French pastries. No, well, I play the drums. I mean, I don't know if that's, it's kind of macho, I guess. And I like to read history and also history of war quite a bit. So that's why I'm interested in tanks as well, because you know, I read a lot about, especially I like the German-Russia Soviet conflict from the Second World War. Pretty interesting.
Yes, it is a very interesting topic to
Yeah.
all of our players. Did you ever consider switching careers in your life, taking a totally different path, never looking back?
Yeah, I want to go to a desert island and just sleep for about a month.
I think we all want to do that once in a while. What is the most memorable moment you ever had with a fan of yours?
Well, the second most memorable, I can tell you.
Okay.
The first one, it's private. But you know, people are. Well, I had one good moment in the States where somebody they won a contest to work out with me. You know, in a gym.
Yeah.
It was for charity, and so this guy comes from New York, and he, you know, is going to train with me, and then we do some weights, and he says, "Oh, can we do some heavy weights? This is not enough for me. I want to do heavier." So I'm like, "Okay." So I put on some very, very heavy weights for leg presses, and he got up, and then he goes, "Oh, I got to sit down." He starts fainting. We have to put him in this position on the floor in the gym. And then he tells me, "I have this problem since I was a kid with my blood pressure." I thought he was going to die. So So it's like, "Hey man, you shouldn't have lifted so heavy weights, you know." So I had to like pick him up and take him out of the gym. So it was kind of a fun experience. Not for him, but for me.
He probably wanted to impress you a lot.
Yeah, he tried to.
Yeah. People know that you're smart, good looking, but is there any embarrassing moment from your childhood?
I got so many. You got a half hour? Well, I wasn't. I was a small kid. I was kind of allergic in Sweden, and I was kind of very insecure. And mostly I was good in school, in chemistry and mathematics and stuff like that. So yeah, I had a lot of embarrassing moments with girls. So I didn't. No girls liked me, and I got beat up a lot. So you know, I finally kind of, you know. Finally got kind of back when I was about in my teenage years. I kind of managed to get a little stronger and you know, a little more secure. So through martial arts, mostly. Yeah.
And now girls look at you.
One or
totally
two, yeah.
differently.
One or two.
Yes. If you could start any project of any kind, something that's 100% you, Dolph. What would that project be?
Well, it would be probably something historical. I have one script that I'm working on. It's a World War I script. It's kind of a thriller, like a romantic thriller set in Sweden that I'm working on to direct, to produce. But I like, something historical. The World War II is very cool. I like that conflict because it's very. It was such an interesting time. Anything was possible. And the scale of it, and also all the nations were involved. So anything, like that would be cool.
So we have some cool things coming, maybe.
If you have any good scripts, you send them to me.
Yeah, send them to Dolph.
Yeah.
Do you plan on publishing another book? And if so, what would that be?
Making a book is much more work than a movie. It was a nightmare. I mean, I did a fitness book, but you have to check everything, every word. Because in a movie, it all passes by, and if it's not perfect, the next second you'll watch something else. But in the book, it's there forever. So you have to look at every word, especially with training, all the sets and reps and numbers and everything. So I think if I do another book, it'll maybe be something to do with my life. This one was autobiographical, but about training. Maybe something to do about, business and my experiences. We'll see. When I get a little older, when I turn 40, I'll think about it. Just kidding.
I'm sure many people would love to hear more about your life. What was the most difficult thing you ever had to do in this movie?
Well, I had 2 lines of dialogue once. That was really difficult. No, I was just kidding. The most difficult physical thing, I've done some crazy stuff. I did a movie called Red Scorpion, where I play a Spetsnaz officer, actually. And I did some of my own stunts in Africa because they didn't have stuntmen that looked like me. And I had to jump from this motorcycle to a truck. And in those days, there was no computer graphics. It was all real. But it was quite dangerous. Obviously I could have fallen and gotten killed. I had to do takes. In that movie, also in one movie, part of that movie, a hyena bites me. It's supposed to follow me, in the desert. And the hyena bit me, in the leg. And then we had to do one more take. So the handler, they had a guy with a gun there, So I took the gun out and I said to the guy who owned the hyena, one more time, and he's finished, But the guy's like, no, don't shoot him. Anyway, I didn't shoot him. That was funny.
That's very interesting. Expendables 4. Is there anything, like any tiny bit of information that maybe we can squeeze out of you? Because we're all dying to know something.
I don't know anything. I just know maybe we shoot in May, and that I think my character was supposed to die. And I was really looking forward to that, So I can take a break from Expendables. But I think now I'm alive at the end, I hope. But who knows? I haven't read the script, so we'll see.
Okay. Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure to meet you.
Pleasure.
And
thanks.
It's really great for our fans to get to know something about you. Thank you very much for this. And